Alrighty, yo, what is up, Knights? Just Rick here, back with some more DFO charge. This time on my secret agent. Now, guys, it's been about a couple months, I think, since the last charge video. I think I'm going to start this series back up because there has been a lot of developments on my account. Obviously, it's been a couple months. I haven't stopped playing or anything, but a lot of characters like this one, you wouldn't expect it. Full Tabor set. Actually, a lot of my characters are doing Tabors. A lot of my characters are doing Fiend Wars, Prey Raid even. We've had Prey Raid for a couple weeks now. I've been getting a little bit comfortable doing Prey, and you know, we'll be seeing more content, PvE type content with stronger characters. You know, that's kind of the thing as time progresses. As long as I'm playing the game, you're gonna have stronger characters like this one, which are in full Tabor set. And we're gonna be doing, you know, it's hard to try to do content that you haven't already done, you know, so we're just going to be doing some total clips a little bit, and then we'll maybe jump into the Fiend War. But anyway, guys, let me talk a little bit about the secret agent, because I have talked about this character in the past. I have not been very kind to this character. I've been very critical about how stale he is, especially in comparison to the Hitman. You know, I was like, man, Hitman just is more fluid. Hitman has better AoE. Hitman this, Hitman that. Okay, and you're probably wondering, okay, well, you should talk the Executioner. You should talk the secret agent. Okay, having a hard time hitting here. I've got to work on my rotation here. I usually don't farm this guy in this dungeon, but been critical about this character in the past. Rick, why do I have one in full Tabor set then? All right, let me explain the history of this character. This character is lucky he exists. Let me tell you that right now. He's lucky he exists, and the reason he exists is because of the jump server. Okay, the jump server came, and I had to pick a character on my account, which I didn't have any, like, big investments in. I'm talking avatars or titles and creatures. I had to pick one of those to get a full set of gear, and Secret Agent was actually a perfect character to do that. My Secret Agent wasn't very geared. I did want to try one out that was a little bit geared, and I didn't already invest in them. All the characters that I actually cared about, you know, my Dragon Knight, or, you know, all of the characters that I really like, I'd already invested a lot into them, so it doesn't make any sense for me to try to make that the jump character. So this was the perfect character. It was actually the perfect character. It took a long time for me to come up with it, but it was a perfect character to make as a jump character. And so that's the reason why, actually, guys, that this guy is so prominent on the account right now, is because he got a big head start. Once 95 cap came out, he had this huge head start. He had a full 90 set. You know, he was one of the strongest characters on my account. He could do Tabors right away when it came out, and that gave him a head start over my mains, like my Mistress and all that, who are still not in full Tabors gear. So that's why he exists. That's why slowly but surely I've been getting him some stronger stuff, a rare avatar, aura creature, and all that. I had to get it over time because, you know, I didn't have it before. So that being said, okay, there is something to be said about the actual character itself. So that's why he exists. Let me talk to you about some things I've been critical about this character before that I might have changed my opinion on a little bit. Okay, one thing that I have said in the past, I think the last time I mentioned this was like in my Rush videos, when I talk about Avenger, when I talk about Battle Mage. These are characters, right? Battle Mage and Avenger are great examples of characters who don't really shine until you get a little bit of gear on them. When they don't shine until you get two things: speed and gear. So you have to get the speed, you have to get an avatar set, you know, potentially a rare avatar set, and to get you know, gear also means you get more damage, and the more damage actually is a really important thing on this character. And I've kind of come to realize that when we talk about some of this character's skills, okay? And the main skills that this guy has, I mean, I'm not going to be able to show off his main potential until I do some harder content, but the main skill he has is this target shooting right here. This target shooting right here has an ammunition system. It's on the bottom left right there, and I can just keep spamming it. Now, you can imagine if a shot takes 2 shots to kill an enemy versus the 1 shot, it's going to effectively make that skill twice as effective when you can kill an enemy in 1 shot. If it takes 2 or 3 shots to kill somebody, you're not going to want to use it as much. And that's kind of what happens when you don't have a lot of gear, is that you're going to take multiple shots to kill somebody, especially trash mobs, and you can't afford that. It basically doubles the time it takes to kill somebody, and especially when you're weaker, it makes a skill like that very unattractive to use. You don't want to sit there and just keep shooting that button if they're not dying. You know, there's really no point. Another skill that also falls into that same category is another key pivotal skill to this character, and that's the Shadow Step. The Shadow Step is another skill that kind of teleports to an enemy. It hits them one time, and if it doesn't kill in that one hit, it becomes a move that you never want to use. You see right here, every time I teleport, I actually kill somebody with the Shadow Step, as long as somebody is targeted. It only kills one enemy at a time, though, and you can imagine when you do weaker damage, that type of skill is almost unusable. Even when you put the TP, even when you put all the levels and everything you can into it, it becomes seriously unusable because you know, you're teleporting to all these guys, you're hitting them one time, and they're not dying. You know, why would you even bother using the skill like that? You might as well use something like this, which hits multiple enemies and, you know, actually does way more damage per cast, you know, because it's actually going through enemies and it's hitting them for full damage. So, target shooting and Shadow Step, the main thing about this character, are only really good when you have some gear to back it up, you know. If you don't have that gear, those skills, I'm not kidding when I say it's not even worth using. It's not even worth leveling because of how long it takes for it to come out, and you know, for how long it's gonna, you know, you're not gonna be able to get the usefulness out of it. Now, that being said, when you get some gear, like when I did when I played the jump server, all of a sudden these skills become really, really usable. In fact, I'd say target shooting is probably the most abusable skill in PvE. Look at this thing. It has AoE on hit. I get a ton of casts of it. It has a relatively low cooldown for what it does, and it's just really nice to have a skill like this where it can just shoot anybody who's close by, which is really cool. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I am gonna say that about this character, that yes, I was a little bit hasty to talk about the target shooting and how Shadow Step are just clunky things to use, and they are when you don't have any damage, right? You're teleporting all over the screen. You're hitting guys, but they're not dying. No point. There literally is no point to use those types of skills. So I'm just kind of warning you right now that while I'm not really going to take away what I said back in the other videos about the target shooting and the Shadow Step being clunky, they are a lot more usable now that I have a lot more damage and it's actually killing people. So something to keep in mind. I've said this about Battle Mage. I've said this about Avenger, that they do change a lot when you get a little bit more gear and a little bit more speed. Now, aside from that, guys, though, this guy is probably as straightforward as they come when it comes to, you know, how do I say, just a DPS character. I mean, honestly, I have a lot of DPS characters at the top of my list right now, the top of my character select screen, and they're all, they usually, the ones that I really enjoy playing, have some type of system to them. And aside from the Shadow Step, this guy has very, very little. And we're going to jump into Fiend Wars real quick after this run to kind of show you guys what he can do in, you know, harder content, which that's where really this character is going to shine. I mean, yeah, I guess he's all right for this normal content, but I think I enjoy this guy most when we start doing harder content where we have to actually dodge attacks, because the romantic dash on this character is something that I have slept on a little bit in the past. It's not really useful for this kind of normal content, but it is really useful for raids and stuff like that. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to cut to some Fiend Wars raids. A couple things about this character. One, you're going to see me utilizing the Shadow Step in a combo manner, and that's kind of the main thing about this character's gimmicks, is that he focuses on using the Shadow Step in between his skills, and that is the only kind of combo mechanic or gimmick that this guy has, is that in between his skills, and this goes for pretty much any of his skills, that he can utilize the Shadow Step to either cancel the aftercast delay or you know, be able to chain other skills very nicely into it. And that's kind of it's something you're going to see a lot better when we fight against bosses who are not dying in one hit, but I guess it's kind of cool. You know, I already used it, so I can't use it for this guy, but gonna iframe through his one-shot attack, because, well, there you go. He's just gonna one-shot them in one hit. So there you can kind of see I was doing it at the end there, but yeah, you just press the Shadow Step button after one of your skills, which has the aftercast delay removed or, you know, truncated a little bit, and it allows you to chain skills really quickly because of that, which is kind of cool. A lot of the times bosses don't give you the opportunity to utilize that very well because it takes a long time to get all the hits of the Shadow Step off, and if you're just chaining Shadow Step into skill, into Shadow Step into skill, it takes a little bit of time for that all to come out. So but it is a cool feature, and I think it's something that you mostly utilize in the downtime. When your skills are on cooldown, that's something that you might want to use. Same thing with the target shooting. If in the downtime of your skills being on cooldown. Oh my god, I missed it again. in the downtime of your skills being on cooldown, you might want to hit with the shadow step while you're waiting for your cooldown. Same thing with the target shooting. You might want to hit with the target shooting while your skills are on cooldown. So, gonna hit him with this. Throw the 2-way out there. Into the 1A. And finally got the grab. I don't know why my grabs are not working here. You know, you just throw that out there to kind of fill up the downtime. Right there, I'm using a romantic dash to avoid damage there. But yeah, you just use this in the downtime while you try to build your cooldowns back up. You can use a quick shadow step combo, or you could just keep spamming the target shooting and do damage that way. This guy is not going to let me down, huh? Alright. What? Okay. Here you can kind of see. Not a great combo there. Oh, shit. Well, luckily I'm still hitting. I don't feel like we got a full rotation there. That was unfair. Every time I use that move, it like whiffs. Even my... This is not a great place to showcase my shadow step, because that's kind of... Maybe this is a good time to showcase it. What happens sometimes with the shadow step and even your big grabs is that they don't work. They just kind of go through the opponent, and if there's any kind of latency, that becomes an enormous issue, because now skills that are designed to be used in a certain way are not working, you know. They're going right through an enemy, and if it misses, if that first initial grab of the shadow step misses, it will cause you to kind of go through an opponent and you miss out on the damage completely. So skills like the shadow step, skills like the Moonlight Requiem are skills that I'm using right now. Moonlight Requiem especially is one of my highest damaging skills, and it's just going through the opponent. So unfortunate that I had to deal with that, but that's how this works. That skill right there has some of the best AoE. Well, not the best AoE, but some really good AoE. Best AoE on the character for sure. And right there, I just went through the opponent again. Okay, Moonlight actually connected, but my Shadow Step didn't. And that's the main problem here is I'm tired of Shadow Step missing when I needed to hit. We just got lucky there, dude. Did you guys see how close that was? Like, we were moving into that map, and we had no idea that he was about to respawn again. We almost got split up. Okay, finally. Missed with the Moonlight Requiem. God, that is so annoying. That is so annoying that my skills are not connecting. Really, the brawler should have picked it up and used her 1A there, but okay, now she wants it. Use the 1A, dude. Okay, give me this shit. Okay. No, give me this shit. Okay. So far, this raid has been a complete mess. I mean, we're clearing the dungeons quickly. It's just I haven't been able to show off anything. I haven't been able to show off hardly anything that I want to show off because it's a little bit, the latency is a little bit high, and I think that's something that should be mentioned. Is that if you can't hit that Shadow Step or if you can't hit the Moonlight Requiem, all of a sudden it really stresses you out, right? Because like these are skills that are supposed to hit. That's how combos usually go on this character. Like I said, using the Shadow Step. That time the Moonlight Requiem actually connected. Utilizing the Shadow Step and utilizing, you know, just hit. Yeah, have any of you guys played like Riven in League of Legends? Same thing. Okay, you use a skill, basic attack. Use a skill, basic attack. You use a skill, whatever that skill is, the one where you jump up. Same thing with Shadow Step. You use a skill, then you press Shadow Step. You use a skill, then you press Shadow Step again. It's a very simplified system. Okay. You can, like I showed right there, you can hold on to the Shadow Step for a pretty decently long time. You can use your Awakening and still have time to be able to utilize the step there. Wind is scary because if you have Enchantress on your team. Now that is one thing about this character I haven't really talked about, and that is the romantic dash. And it is kind of cool because Two things. Romantic Dash is cool for two reasons. One, it can obviously be used to iframe through attacks. Right there you can see I just went through the tornado. I knew it was coming, so I just pressed the Romantic Dash. If I run into an attack during the animation of Romantic Dash, it will iframe through it right there. And it actually gives you a little bit of iframe after you use it. So it's not only, you know, you iframe the attack, you also can use it to abuse some iframe afterwards. Well, you got to time it right. So, and the cooldown on it is relatively low too. You know, it's something that you're gonna have available. So, okay, you're gonna have available when you need it, basically. And we're getting a crux right here. Let's hit with that Requiem this time. It's actually connecting, which is nice. Haven't really utilized a lot of my skills here. You can see another Romantic Dash. Pretty dead here. Okay. Let's see, did I pick up a damage spot? Yeah, there we go. Oh, fuck. Ooh, I wasn't ready. Is it enough? Moonlight? No! No! There's no HP. Fuck! The thing about Shadow Step is if in the middle of the animation, if you're using it, it actually causes or gives you iframe as well. So you have a lot of moves that actually give you iframe for free. So the other thing that I didn't get to talk about Romantic Dash is that if you're getting hit with an attack that has that doesn't immediately knock you down, if it actually just pushes you away, like this tornado skill right here. If you get hit with that tornado skill and it pushes you away, you can use a Romantic Dash while you're getting pushed away to ensure that you don't get continuously combo. This move right here, I think, is a good way to show it off, that you can get hit with an attack, and then if you get hit, you can use the Romantic Dash to iframe to avoid, you know, you'll still get hit with the attack, but you use it to avoid any continuous damage that you're gonna take. Okay, just die. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. There was a little bit of a secret agent and his small but, you know, kind of interesting combo ability, and then a lot of skills on the downtime using target shooting. But like I said, he's a very straightforward character. I mean, this guy is about as straightforward as they come. The Shadow Step honestly is not interesting enough for me to kind of warrant saying that this character is like, man, this character's systems are awesome. There are so many other characters that have some better, well, more designed system. This guy has very lazy systems, in my opinion. Shadow Step is very lazy. Target shooting is very lazy. It works, and he does a lot of damage, and it is satisfying to iframe through attacks. I won't lie about that. That the Romantic Dash can be used in ways that, you know, make this character a lot more safe and a lot more fun to play. I think sometimes it's fun to jump into attacks instead of just avoiding them. You can just stay on top of a boss and Romantic Dash just to stick onto him. It doesn't really make much sense because he doesn't, you know, his playstyle doesn't really force him to stay onto somebody, and if they did, you just use Shadow Step with iframe anyway. This type of skill, I've said it before, this Romantic Dash is the type of skill that I want to see on Monk. Monk is a character who's always supposed to be in your face, so it makes sense to have a skill like Romantic Dash because you want to stick on top of a character. A lot of my skills, though, Annihilation, Aim Shot, you know, all of these skills can be used, you know, a little bit further away than the boss, and if you have to be closer, then you can always use Shadow Step to get in there and iframe at all times if you wanted to. So Romantic Dash is in a weird spot where I honestly wish that this skill worked on Monk. I wish it existed on Monk, and it would be so much better. Monk would be so awesome if this skill, they took it off of this character and moved it onto Monk in, say, the form of, you know, Sacred Countering. Have Sacred Countering work like Romantic Dash, and Monk will become so awesome because it fits the character more, that it works on Monk than Secret Agent, in my opinion. But, you know, here's Secret Agent, guys. I gave him a little bit more shine than I did. I threw a lot of shade before. I'm going to give him some shine. I do have him in full Tabers. I do think he's a viable character at the end game. Albeit a little bit stale. That's all I got to say about this, though, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you nights later.